I made my boyfriend bald after he destroyed my late mother's memento box. My boyfriend and I's relationship was hanging on by a thread because he was manipulative and unsupportive. He liked giving backhanded compliments like, "That makeup looks good, wear it more," or "You're looking pretty skinny today." He's also extremely cheap and will ask me to pay him back for coffee or take out to the cent. However, the main problem is his anger issues. They are so terrible. He loves video games and he buys a new controller every 2 weeks or so because he breaks ITT. If he's in a bad mood, I stay out of the way because he likes to shout at me. Now the main issue. My mother passed 3 years ago and it's been very hard. I'm doing a lot better nowadays, but there are still days I think about her and become sad. My boyfriend doesn't support me during these days. They happen randomly, sometimes once a month, sometimes twice a month, and sometimes not for a few months. But when they do, it's bad. I stay in bed all day as I cannot force myself to get up. Last week was my mother's death anniversary, and I was downstairs on the couch watching a comedy to distract myself from it when I asked my boyfriend to get me a glass of water. He was already in a bad mood, as he always is when I have days like this. But when I asked, he just exploded. He screamed that I should do it myself. He kept yelling, saying I'm using my mother's death as an excuse to do nothing, that he won't be my slave whenever this happens, and that I do nothing but feel sorry for myself over something that happened 3 years ago. I started crying when he said that, and he just yelled further, saying I'm guilt-tripping him with crocodile tears. He then ran upstairs and left me crying downstairs. I then heard loud banging as well as the sound of glass breaking. I ran upstairs to see what was going on, and what I saw made me freeze. I saw him in our room, destroying pictures of my mother. I had a photo of my mother and I on my nightstand, and he destroyed it. I had a whole box full of her handwritten letters, pictures of her, pictures of us, rings and jewelry she owned. He was destroying this box, ripping apart the letters, smashing the jewelry with our hammer, and ripping the pictures too. I stood there frozen. Every part of me wanted to make him stop, but my fear froze me. I started repeating, "Please stop," but he wouldn't. He just kept destroying it and yelling this was the problem. I left the house as this was happening and sat on a park bench crying. A random stranger came up and talked to me when she saw me crying. It was comforting. I went back to my house a few hours later and went straight upstairs to see the damage. When I saw it, I broke down. I knew most of it would be destroyed, but I was hoping he'd at least leave some. But no, every letter and picture was ripped, every frame destroyed, and every ring, earring, or necklace smashed. It was all still on the floor. I scooped up what I could and placed it in a bag. He was downstairs, not even acknowledging me. To me, our relationship was over. I had already taken him back 3 times and I wouldn't do it again. But before ending it, I needed him to feel pain. I looked at a ripped picture of my mother and thought about how she was an eye for an eye kind of person. Although that wasn't my nature, I knew it had to be. So I planned revenge. Over the next few days, I acted like nothing was wrong. I hid my disgust and even brought myself to have intimacy with him to really convince him I still loved him. And then a few days later, I secretly bought hair remover. Now, my ex-boyfriend loved his hair. He took great pride in styling it and looking after it. And the night the hair remover arrived, I replaced his shampoo with it. I also spent that night packing. The next morning, I told him in bed that the smell of his hair when shampooed turns me on. He instantly left to go shower. And as soon as he did, I grabbed my bag and left. About 10 minutes after leaving, I texted him saying I am done, telling him to enjoy his new hair. He tried to reach out a few times, but I blocked him. I know for a fact his hair is destroyed. He created fake accounts on social media to send pics of his newly bald head to me. He claims he's going to sue me for emotional damage because of this, and I told him to try his luck.